Gentlemen, welcome to the first Prime Dude podcast. Yeah, this is episode 1. We're going to be talking about shoes, and we're also going to be talking about all of these shoes and the clothes. I'm going to be reviewing what's coming up in the show, whether it'll be shorts, whether it'll be actual full episodes, like I've done with Charles Tyrwhitt, with Mizzen in Maine. I got that one coming actually, but Ledbury, that's another one. But my proper cloth review will be out in 2 weeks. That's an interesting one because I've actually worked with them on some of the issues they've had with my orders. They were small, but I've already seen some comments, and I think proper cloth is just so big. They've had some challenges. So we're going to talk a little bit about proper cloth today, but I'll save that for the show. We'll get into this shoe a bit. There will be a full show on Bridlen and my experience with them. I'm going to do some shoe care with this today while we talk. And of course, as you can see over my shoulder, I got a couple more pairs that will relate to the tariffs. I want to talk to you about that because now we're after May 1st, 2025, and there's something I've already learned. And that's what I want to do is, even if it's a mistake I make, or I've made, and I've made many in my professional career spanning over 25 years, including the military, I want you to learn from the mistakes without having to make them like I did. So first off, Bridlen, this shoe is from, Bridlen's Indian, right? So they're an Indian shoemaker, and they have really kind of shocked the shoe world over the last few years because of their pricing, but quality delivered. And from what I can tell, now it's 2025. This is my first pair. They've been in business, it seems, well over 5 years, and they might have had some small issues in the beginning, as any new company does. I mean, this brand of mine, Prime Dude, I'm getting through issues too as I become more comfortable talking to you on camera. And so that's understandable for a new company, especially someone making dress shoes and all kinds of boots and things in a very competitive direct-to-consumer shoe world. Now, I think no one doubts that the Indian manufacturer, or the Indian cobbler, is very skilled. This is not the first time shoes have been made in India. Companies like Loke have been using India shoe factories and artisans for a long time. And so the founders of Bridlen have clearly tapped into something because they're sourcing all top quality materials from places like Italy for their leathers, or the Annonay tannery in France. And so now they're making shoes with the top quality products with highly trained Indian cobblers and artisans. And I can tell you, when I open the box, and I'll do my unboxing and full detailed show for this one in about 2.5 weeks, maybe sooner. Got to get through the proper cloth one and my TLB Mallorca full review too. But I was blown away. Now, I've seen video reviews where people are just astounded by the quality, even surprised I wasn't. I traveled to India for work. I have wonderful colleagues and clients there, and I've seen where India is going in the quality delivered in the products that they're making, and this is no exception. And so I'm really excited to do a full review. I'm actually going to do some shoe care with this one as we talk about some other shoes and things coming up. But back to the tariffs. First of all, the tariffs are in place, and what you're not going to see, as if with like Yearn, so I got a Yearn shoe here, my first one, and we'll talk about it. You're not going to see it in the price right now in most of these shoe websites. Okay, using my Saphir Renovateur just a little bit. Oh, forgot the brush. First of all, always brush before you apply anything, right? So quick brush, horsehair, right? Make a mess. Don't distract me, guys. All right, just brushing it up, get it clean. Now for the Saphir. Didn't spill any, it's a miracle. But you're gonna see, like with Yearn, the Monkstrap I purchased back in April, before tariffs were imposed. The US tariffs for China, they're $560 US. They're still priced at $560 US. So what's going on, right? I thought the tariffs were gonna be in place. Well, they are, because I learned the hard way, and I'm still happy that I have the shoes coming. I ordered my second pair of TLB Mallorcas. Now, the tariff imposed on Spain is not quite the same as China, but it's all involving goods under $800. So the shoes I ordered from TLB Mallorca, I was pleasantly surprised. Didn't seem like the price had gone up. As the shoes were made, as they came my way, I got a message from DHL. Great shipping, right? That's the best international. Finishing up the Saphir now. As you can see, just nice and even over. Layer it on, no problem. So DHL received the goods. TLB Mallorca finished them. They are a suede double monk, beautiful looking, and I'm Obviously happy with the first pair I received from TLB Mallorca because I'm ordering a second. That review again is coming. DHL stopped the shipment and hit me up for $67 as a duty to continue the shipment, and I had 5 days to pay or they were going to send it back. So I paid it, but you're not seeing the tariffs in your initial purchase. So beware. Now, Justin Fitzpatrick from the Shoe Snob, one of my favorites, he has his own fantastic shoe line. I'm going to be ordering a pair of those and reviewing those soon. He said he's had to take that 10% and he's going to be putting it into his prices, which I applaud him for doing. It's being upfront with your customer, right? If you have to carry those over to your customer, which many of these companies have to, if you're selling shoes at a great price, we're talking handmade, hand welted or Goodyear welted dress shoes like these, the tariff, and you're selling them under $400 or in the $400, $500 range with all of that work going into it and those materials being sourced, there's not a lot of room to absorb 10 or 20% in the, in the costs, right? They're already working with very thin margins to make money. They have to. And so for someone here in the US, I understand that they're going to have to hold me accountable. It's my government doing it. I'm not going to get into whether I agree with it or not. I will say I'm certain these are only temporary. So if you don't want to spend the extra money right now or don't want the surprise, I recommend waiting, I think 30 days, maybe even less. The EU, European Union tariffs will be all but gone. There's always been a duty you pay shipping goods from Europe to the United States. So for those of you in the US looking to order or anywhere else that has some of the issues, but I'm pretty sure it's just the US, take a beat if you don't want to pay that extra 10 or more percent. What I paid turned out to be a little more than 10%. I've been looking for the calculation, but $67 on a approximately $450 pair of shoes, math is more than 10%. So keep that in mind. Now, I've let this absorb in. By the way, guys, I'm not a shoe shine expert. I'm pretty good getting there as far as the mirror shine. We'll get to that in a little bit. Nice gentle brushing, getting the Saphir Renovateur off. But so the tariffs are real. If you don't see them in the reflected price online, as a US customer ordering from especially Mallorca from Spain or anywhere in the EU, beware that en route, as customs handles these products, you will get hit with some kind of duty in order to receive the goods, just the way it is. Again, right now it's, May 3rd, 2025, so we'll see where this develops, but I do think it's going to be temporary. If you know sports betting, like the score, the over-under, I would say the over-under is 30 days, right? I know there are deals. I haven't had a chance to research if deals are being worked out with Spain, but I know in our government, the European Union is a priority, and then China's next. So I'm going to let the Saphir Renovateur sit a little bit after brushing. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to do that while I talk about another pair of shoes we've alluded to, and that is my single monks in a dark brown, gorgeous, ridiculous patina. And I'll tell you a story. When I got these, I sent a picture to somebody with a great deal more money than I have, a client of mine who's become a very good personal friend. He is from India and he lives out on the West Coast, and he is a bespoke shoe guy. He's a bespoke everything. All of his suits are bespoke to the level, I think the starting price of his lowest cost suit was like $5,000, and beautiful clothing. I mean, he gets what he pays for it. I absolutely adore it. And so he looked at these shoes. Again, he's a bespoke person. He's already emailed Yearn Shoemaker, Tim, the CEO, because he was just blown away. And he actually, with all his shoes, has never pulled the trigger. All of his bespoke shoes never pulled the trigger on a Monkstrap. So you can see here, I mean, it is an impeccable shoe, guys. I paid $560 US, which is a good deal of money. But when you feel a shoe, and I've owned so many shoes in my life, I have well over 50 pairs of just dress shoes. I mean, you can see some of them on my shoulder. That's just the beginning. And I've accumulated these, right? I've invested in these, and I am a sales shopper. And we'll talk about that Park Avenue I have over my shoulder because it's really relevant to what's going on in the market now. But this pair of shoes is absolutely immaculate. I mean, you have this kind of a semi-fiddleback waist to it. I mean, it really is. You have the closed channel stitching. I can't wait to do the full review on it, but I can tell you it's a process. The first pair, you should spend time communicating with Tim, with Yearn Shoemaker, about your foot. They will take a diagram. They will go through everything to make sure you get the correct size. and they did that for me. It's funny, we went back and forth. They recommended a little bit smaller because this is a slightly elongated shoe, and although I wear a regular D width, like an Allen Edmonds, right, an average size width, they thought I would be best with a UK 9, even though I wear a UK 9.5, which translates to a 10.5 US. But we got the 9.5, and it fits absolutely perfect. Without giving you too much details, I encourage you to watch the full review that's going to be coming out in the next few weeks of Yearn Shoemaker Monkstrap. Again, it's still showing $560 US on the website as of today, May 3rd, 2025. But I have a feeling this is going to hit customs at, and I have a lot of experience with clothing in China. Was out there not too long ago. This is going to get, I mean, Chinese customs can be an issue. I've had clothes from Proper Cloth or other places go through different customs, going through Shanghai, going through Guangzhou, that gets stopped and inspected. And so far I've gotten my goods, but there's a delay. You have to just know that when you're ordering international clothing especially, but there will be a tariff on this. Right now I've read it's like 145%, and people are worried about how this is going to affect quick ordering goods made in China that we do order a lot of here in the US. So far it's not reflected in the price of Yearn Shoemaker, but buyer beware, you could get hit with a duty before you actually receive the goods, so on top of the 560. So be careful, because that's what happened to me with TLB Mallorca coming from Spain. So that's a European Union tariff. There's no doubt with what's going on in this trade situation with the US and China that there are going to be tariffs that are going to be followed through for a little while now. And my prediction might be a little bit longer. I don't know if the over-under is 30 days. I do think it might last a little bit longer if President Xi goes head-to-head with President Trump and they decide to have this out. I do believe things are going to be fine. It's just when you get to be my age, I don't panic about anything. The good thing with this type of thing with a tariff is we do control what we can pay for. I look more at domestic goods for anyone. So not just in the US, for the EU, for India. You don't want to see costs of things we need like gas and milk and eggs and groceries go up because we have to eat. As much as I am a shoe addict, I spend my money on clothes if I have any discretionary income. I don't drive a nice car. I don't have other nice things. Those are my things I spend money on, other than my kids, one's in college. But it's interesting. I think I just want everyone to be happy. Good people that work hard, I want them to have their dreams come true. And that's why I love supporting international companies. I love supporting my friends in India because I go there. I've enjoyed my times in places like Chennai and in Mumbai and Bangalore, where my company's sister office is. And it's exciting to see what's coming out with companies like Bridlen. And then don't forget Blackbird. I got my first pair of Blackbird shoes. A little bit of a preview. They are really impressive. That review's coming. I got just a real simple workhorse derby with a rubber sole. And I'm telling you, India's on fire with these shoes, guys. And so is just Asia in general. And look at Yearn Shoemaker. I've heard Acme's fantastic, pretty pricey compared to other shoes. But when you hear about, people talk about, I'm drawing a blank on the Ichi, the other shoe company. They look immaculate. That's probably my next order. But I want to talk about a US-based company, and it's Allen Edmonds, and it's an iconic brand. For those of you not in the US, I'm sure you've heard about it. This is the shoe our dads here, grew us up on. This was the shoe. Allen Edmonds was what you walked in to, like the Nordstrom, the really nice retailers, Neiman Marcus. And when your dad had some money, he needed dress shoes, this is what he would buy. Right? It was Allen Edmonds. I mean, they are just an iconic brand out of Port Washington and Wisconsin. And they've had some challenges because, they've been bought out, right? Venture capitalists bought them, looked at saving costs. And so they've gone to places like the Dominican Republic for their manufacturing. And, for the shoe snob types, when you get into the details, and I'm going to review the Park Avenues, not my first pair. I have a pair of Park Avenues in dark chili, which is a really classic color for Allen Edmonds, and a unique one. Imagine it's like a little bit darker than a medium brown with slight mahogany hues to it, a little reddish, not much. They also have mahogany, also considered a brown medium, a little more red tone to it in certain lighting. Of course, this is a black Goodyear welted. That's what they've been famous for. Of course, Goodyear welting now is so accessible, right? I have hand welted from Bridlen, right, which has the same benefits because you can resole them. Same with Goodyear welting from Allen Edmonds. I've got Goodyear welted from Blackbird. Same thing from Yearn. The competition's really stepped it up. So why is Allen Edmonds doing so well? But why also did they make a mistake recently? First of all, Allen Edmonds in the US has a tremendous brand. Think Crockett & Jones in the UK, not comparing the quality, but also Crockett & Jones is more than twice the price, right? Exactly twice the price. $425 for this retail US. Crockett & Jones will cost you $850 for the Westbournes. Got a review coming out. They're actually on the rack back there. But Allen Edmonds had this international tariff going on for US customers, and they have their April sale, which is the only time I buy Allen Edmonds shoes. I think $425 for shoes that I found have really up close some detail issues. I've had to return a number of pairs when I get them new because of some quality issues. I think $425 for these shoes in the world that I know, with companies like Blackbird, like Bridlen, like Yearn Shoemaker, and so on and so forth, even the UK companies that I love, like Loke and Crockett & Jones. I mean, if I'm going to start spending a lot of money, I'm happy to spend a little bit more for something that might be better quality. But this is an icon, and they do work for a long time. They're resolable, and they make the returns easy. But going back to the tariffs, why is Allen Edmonds back to their retail prices after May 1st? You have this whole world of people now that might need shoes. They might need them in a few days. Maybe they've had some shoe damage that they don't want to pay to get repaired. I mean, you start paying more than $100 for a shoe repair, you start thinking maybe I just get new. I mean, people get personal and connected to their shoes. You can have all these shoes that are well made for 30 years. If you take care of them, you're going to need to resole them a couple times. But Allen Edmonds has they do a nice job. This open channeling, that's fine. And they got the rubber heel that I do like. And this is a workhorse shoe. But right now they could really be competing. I would have extended the sale. So because I got these for $329, they're regularly $425. They came immaculate first try. I had another pair of Randolph Verse. They're loafers in a chili color. It took me 3 orders to get a pair that didn't look funny. You just have to be ready for that if you're ordering Allen Edmonds in the US, but they make the returns incredibly easy. They won't cost you anything, just a little bit of time. And of course, I don't have Allen Edmonds store near me where I live, not within an hour drive. So I just do the online. But I was really pleased with these. This is again an icon. It is a classic cap toe Oxford Oxford dress shoe, right? The lacing system set inside. And this is a shoe I'm not going to be afraid to put to work. And that's the thing, guys. When I review this, I'll go through the review. I start the review and I do all of the unboxing, first looks, first glance, my expectations versus what I received. And then before I publish the review, I do my walking in the shoe. I dress it, I pair it with clothes. I go through my airports. I do that iteration. I do those reps with the shoe. So when you see the end of my shoe reviews, I've got the full story, right? At least 4 or 5 wears. And then if I have any issues, if I have any buyer's remorse, I'm going to come back 6 months later because I'll put these to the test even further and I'll warn you. Now, of course, it might not do you any good if you buy the shoes based on my initial review, but so far I felt nothing wrong with the TLB Mallorcas, with the Loke Buckinghams. I have high expectations for this as far as wear and tear because I own a pair of Park Avenues in dark chili and they've turned out great. I've worn them at least 25, 30 times in the last year. Great shoe care, soles holding up, no problem. So Park Avenue, Allen Edmonds, that's coming. Again, I just think the guys at Allen Edmonds should extend the sale. You have a chance to be highly competitive. You have people that are looking for just a basic, elegant Oxford style shoe, maybe a black loafer. You bring your price down and you deliver that perceived value that I got by ordering. I think in April I ordered a number of pairs of shoes from Allen Edmonds to take advantage of the sale. I ended up keeping 7. So that deals were that good. Some were under $300 and the quality was fine. So sticking with the same Bridlen shoe, again, this cost me less than $300. I hadn't mentioned that. This is a museum brown calf. It's just absolutely gorgeous. You got the broguing, right? So it's a brogued cap toe and it's a Balmoral. So we'll get into that in the full review. And I've actually done the filming of my opening impressions. And I just love this Balmoral Oxford, right? That's the straight line stitching based off of the Balmoral boots going back 300, 400 years in Scotland. That's where these became famous, and so that's that Scottish Balmoral style from Bridlen. So we've got the base of the Saphir. I'm going to put the lid on the Saphir here. And I'm going to just do one more brush because it's been sitting there. Gentle strokes. I don't put a lot of pressure with the brushing, guys, right? Right, just get it nice and easy. And we'll conclude this here soon. But, of course, any questions about this shoe? Sorry I mentioned these details like the broguing and the Balmoral design. Again, Brown Museum calf. I mean, just look at that, right? Got good lighting here. Really nice. Just perfect. And again, I beat it up, so I've already worn them, like I said. But they did, they do the closed channel stitching as well in the sole. Just a beautiful sole. Look at that horseshoe tacking on the heel. And then one of the things, I have to go back. I forgot to talk about the heel stack, right? And see if we can get you some light. I mean, it's just how many? I haven't counted them yet. I got 1, 2, on top of the rubber, the 1/4 inch of rubber, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that's a lot of time. Good job to my friends in India at Bridlen. Just a gorgeous shoe. Can't wait to release that review to you guys. Now I'm gonna add my my Saphir. Drop my brush there. My Saphir cream polish. I'm using the Havana. They call it Havan or tobacco. So it's pretty dark brown. Again, this patina handles it nicely. I've already used it once, and I did test it a little bit. I use my fingers. It's all natural product. At least that's what Preston Soto said in the Elegant Oxford. And just do a thin layer, not too much. I was guilty of that when I first started out in shoe care. Going back, well, it wasn't my military days. I guess that's when I started. We didn't have all this nice stuff. Certainly not Saphir products. We were using Kiwi, which worked great. But we just had polish, wax polish, and labor to get a mirror shine. And I didn't enjoy it then, and now I do, which is funny. Gonna let that sit, right? Just a thin coat. You can see it dulls the shine a little bit. By the way, I love the smell. Do you guys love the smell of shoe cream polish? And of course, I'm gonna add a little bit to the sole, right? Just around the edge. Almost like a poor man's, as we say in the US, a poor man's edge dressing, right? So anyway, the tariffs are real. They will not be reflected in the price of your shoes, so keep that in mind. For those of you that are buying your first pair of shoes, one of my favorite debates is which color, right? So this would be considered a brown. Keep it simple. So we'll talk brown or black. I love brown shoes. I love brown shoes in any shade, light, medium brown, or darker like this. This isn't fully dark. If you look at like my Aldens or the true dark brown, it gets a bit more versatile, I'd say, the darker the color. However, black is formal, right? So, a black shoe, albeit versatile, is pretty formal. Now, dark brown's one step down as far as formality. I'd say they're equals in class. If you're working in an office where you're going to be business casual, right? Or smart business casual or snappy. Snappy is the way you should dress in business casual, meaning nice khaki or nice slacks, not always cotton, include wool. You're wearing a blazer with either a polo or a long sleeve, dress shirt underneath, belt, all the goods. Black is fine, but I think you'll get more out of a darker brown, and it's formal enough, but it's not going to look fully formal like black will. So keep in mind, if you're going into more boardroom or executive sales situations, you got a new job, you're going to be riding with your new boss, and you can only order one pair of shoes, or you could order two, but they'd be low quality. Go with a higher quality black, like an Allen Edmonds. If you want to get something in the $300 price range, you can find it. If you can wait, do some research. But again, if it's your first pair of shoes and you need it on a timeline, you don't want to miss on the size and then have to wait and then go with something cheaper from Amazon that you're just not going to like. I would say get a backup pair, something like a Cole Haan to always have if you need it quick, but invest in something. If you're in the US, Allen Edmonds is a great first shoe. You're going to get it quickly, and then you're going to be able to return it very quickly to get a proper size after you try it on. Get your foot measured with, drawing a blank on the device, but the metal device, good grief. I have one downstairs. Just go somewhere and have someone measure your foot if you need to. But again, wherever you are, try to get something high quality. If you can get Goodyear welted, great. Now again, I'm going to have a show on this. I am very pro and I almost forgot one of my favorite companies, Blake Stitching. The Goodyear Welt folks get a little carried away. A number of those shoes you see here, all the shoes I have back here and in my other closet, I'd say almost half of them, 30%, are Blake stitched, like my shoes from, we're just doing a show here, I can probably reach a pair. I don't have them right there. My shoes from Beckett Simonon, right? And by the way, I say Simonon because that's named after Paul Simonon, who was in The Clash. He played the bass for The Clash. So people say Simonon. It's fine. I don't think they mind. Beckett Simonon doesn't mind if you're buying their shoes and saying nice things. But I say Simonon because that's how I learned Paul Simonon's name, and that's the namesake for the Simonon. And then Beckett is a famous artist that the founder admires. So Beckett Simonon makes incredibly priced. I have a show, I'll link it down here, on my impressions of Beckett Simonon. Been wearing them for a while. I have 5 pairs. I've got 2 more on the way because I take advantage of their prices, but you can get 2 pairs of shoes for $329. These are handmade, Blake Stitch, very strong, right? Blake Stitch shoes are going to be comfortable right away. They take less break-in, and Beckett Simonon has the quality process down. They make them in small batches, so you do wait. That's why I'm not recommending them for somebody maybe buying their first shoes. You probably don't have 2 to 3 months to wait, depending on when Beckett Simonon puts in for their batch. I'm going to get a pair right now. Hold on one second. Okay, here is a pair of the Beckett Simonon Dean Oxfords. Guess what? Review coming there too. This one's already cut, so this one's coming soon. Now, nice stitching, open channel, beautiful detail on the heels and the heel stack. I'm not going to go too much into detail. This is burgundy, which for those of you new to shoes is a fantastic, versatile color. I'd say after you get your black and your darker or medium brown, burgundy is a great investment depending on the hue. This is a nice, more subtle hue of burgundy. You can tell up close that it's not brown, but it's not jumping out at you. That some burgundies that have like more of a wine color, they're just a little more of a statement. And great pair of shoes to have. I just got a pair from Cobbler Union on sale that are fantastic, a pair of derbies. But these guys from Beckett Simonon and the Dean Oxfords are just a classic everyday shoe. If you've got time and you need a quality dress shoe in a great process, go for it. The only problem is if you miss on the size, they make it easy, but they might have to go through the remaking process. For instance, if you order a size 10 and you'll feel better in a 9.5, they're going to try to find a pair of 9.5s that are returned in that batch too, and you basically trade out and you'll get them in about a week. If not, they're going to offer you other styles that they have in your 9.5 size, and they're fantastic about it. If you just really need this Oxford, then you're going to need to go through the reordering, and when their next batch comes, it could be 2 to 3 more months. That's tough on a lot of you, right? A lot of people, when you order something, especially shoes, you're excited to get them. If you're new to the company, you're anxious if they're going to fit. Waiting 2 or 3 months is tough. But once you lock in your size with Beckett Simonon, you're going to be a little bit addicted because the pricing is a joke, meaning it's fantastic. So these cost me $160. These absolutely immaculate Oxford dress shoes cost $160. They're made in Colombia. They're made in a humane way. They pay their workers well. They've been reviewed many times and they hold up to all the standards. And the small batch thing is how they keep the prices down because they're not carrying a lot of inventory like an Allen Edmonds or other companies abroad like Crockett and Jones. So I have yet to have somebody come on since I've posted my Beckett Simonon review that I will have down in the description. Everyone says great things. People have reached out. It is maybe one of the hottest shoe companies, if not the hottest, for the value delivered in the world right now. That's Beckett Simonon. For those of you building your shoe collection, not wanting to spend a ton of money, lock in the size and you have different styles there. They have boots. I have a pair of their boots in their oak color. They're gorgeous. They're versatile, but nothing beats a beautiful Oxford. And guys, they use this vachetta leather from Argentina. Just a fantastic, fantastic pair of shoes. And I think I'll leave it at that. I just enjoyed talking about shoes and clothes with you guys again. My dress shirt review for Proper Cloth's coming. Also my suit review from Proper Cloth's coming. I own 10 of their suits and a number of their blazers. I've put that together over the years. So that obviously tips the hat that I really like their suits, but there are things you need to learn. There's money I lost in first ordering those and not doing things the proper way. That goes for their shirts, that goes for their suits. And as I've done with Charles Tyrwhitt and Ledbury and others, I'm saving you some money, hopefully, and some anguish and anxiety by sharing with you the mistakes I made, hoping that you don't have to go through it again. by being subscribers and just supporters of the Prime Dude. Please drop your questions down below. Hit me up anytime on YouTube. That's where I'm mainly focused right now. I've also got my TikTok going, but just really enjoying the YouTube community, the growth, and the support I have from you guys. And so, again, if you've learned anything, and I'm not really good at asking for it in the beginning, and most of us, we've been told, ask for likes, ask for subscribes in the beginning. Hey, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, if you like this episode, share it with somebody that just wants to sit back, relax, and talk and listen about shoes or clothes or business. Really going to be leaning into that and sharing more from the road, especially with my YouTube shorts. So with that, guys, thanks for just hanging out with me. It's a Saturday. It's a beautiful day. Of course, I should be outside, but I spend as my wife will say, too much time with my shoes and, of course, my content here on the other side of the studio. But again, guys, looking forward to another episode. This is episode 1 of the Prime Dude podcast, and always stay prime.